I fall in love with passion and perseverance. Stand up, young fella. You're a Carlton man.
That was Brendan Bolton announcing to Michael Gibbons that his dream had been fulfilled after doing everything he possibly could have. He dominated from the TAC Cup all the way through, two-time JJ Liston medal winner. He was a runner-up. He dominated VFL state footy. He just had to get an opportunity, and it was a question that was posed and asked for a long, long time, and now it's been answered. And he joins us. Michael Gibbons, welcome.
Thanks, boys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's a great story, mate. I can't imagine what that feeling would have been like when Brendan Bolton told you to stand up and announce that you're on that Carlton list.
Yeah, it was. It was a pretty surreal feeling. I suppose after all the sacrifices and everything over the last 5 years and all the disappointment, it was great validation. But also, yeah, it was just the most surreal thing. I rewatched that video the next day, and it sort of gave me some chills. So it was a pretty cool moment.
So, I mean, there's so many threads through all of this. There'll be players that have, in a similar position as you are. There'll be young kids that have missed representative sides or whatever the case may be. What was it that kept driving you? Did at any stage, did it get too hard and did you give up on the dream?
Look, I wouldn't say it ever got too hard. But definitely there's times, year after year of the continual disappointment. I think the biggest thing for myself was after a couple of years of moving down to Melbourne and still trying to be drafted, but I realised there's a little bit more of a life than football. I wasn't putting all my eggs in one basket, so I started going to university. I got a job and, I got a girlfriend, so I realised I had a good work-life balance. And I think that's when my football started to improve over the last 3 years and had, some really consistent years, which helped me to where I am now, I guess.
Hey, Michael, congratulations. It's Tim here. So from what you've just said then, it gives you this perspective about the game and the position the game should play in your life, all that type of thing, which is probably not a bad thing. You're still just 23 years of age. Now, the Blues contacted you during that draft period this year, and they said that they might take you. Then they overlooked you again. Then, obviously, you've got there in the end. How many times over the years have you had conversations with clubs where you thought, okay, this is the club that's going to draft me?
Yeah, there's been a few over the journey. My draft year there was a couple, and even this year there was even a couple that gave me a fair indication. So, but yeah, as you know, there's no guarantees and no promises in this game. So, no grudges or anything there.
No, but you live in that hope, don't you? That optimism and that feeling that, okay, this is going to be the opportunity, and then you've had those hopes dashed. So, I mean, it must have been difficult for you over time to be able to sort of rebuild your confidence again.
Yeah, of course it is. Obviously, but that's why I played. That's why I stayed in Melbourne the whole time. Was I say I have a really good work-life balance, but my goal has always been to make the AFL and to play. So, it was always in the back of my mind whether I wanted to be or not. I guess I can be pretty stubborn, and so every time I got told, I wasn't good enough or I couldn't do it, I just wanted to prove someone wrong. So I guess that's where my mindset was.
You're listening to Michael Gibbons, Carlton's newest recruit, a mature age recruit. Michael, did you get angry at any stage?
Oh, maybe earlier on when I was about 18 or 19 and missing out. I guess I probably had a bit of a bad attitude towards the system then. But as I said, once I realised there was a little bit more life in footy, then yeah, I don't think it got to me as much. Especially seeing some of the success from the other mature age boys, I guess that gave me more hope than anything over the last few years.
Bit of love coming through from you on the text too. Gibbo is a legend. All the best from the Williamstown fans. Gibbo, is it?
You're going with Gibbo?
I'm going with Gibbo now. Oh. Sounds good to me. Hey, Gibbo, is it everything you thought it would be now that you are there in the middle of AFL football?
Yeah, I reckon it's everything and more. I got the call about a week before Christmas, and I was working on the tools one day, and then I was in at the club the next. And it was a bit of an adjustment period there before Christmas. Coming back after Christmas, just come back from camp, and everything, the way that you're just so submersed with the club and the environment, it's just 24/7. I love it. I absolutely can't get enough of it, and it's the dream job actually. It's crazy.
What surprised you about it, Michael?
Oh, it's definitely how full on it is. I guess you hear about it from from people in the media and that, but I guess you can't really get an appreciation of it until you're sort of in it. We're here we're here 8 or 9 hours a day. Training is full on, but then it's also all the meetings and the continual follow up, and then also outside of the club, what you're doing to make yourself, at that elite standard and trying to improve away from the club as well.
Sometimes new players and new recruits come in and they a little bit of trepidation, don't know whether to sort of go too hard here, or they don't know whether to tackle that bloke super hard, or do you push yourself into the front of the weights line, all that sort of stuff. Did you have any of those moments where you sat back and sort of looked and thought, oh, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do here?
I think maybe my very first session when I got the call late, when Doc went down with injury, and I come in the next day, I think I was a little bit tentative that day, and then after that I sort of, the boys probably got a bit sick of me early, the way I was yapping and trying to carry on a bit. But yeah, as you say, like I only had one shot at it, so I gave it everything, and I sort of tried to impress as early and as quick as I could.
We're talking to New Blue, Michael Gibbons. You arrived at the same time as Matthew Cottrell. He stepped up and cleaned up Ed Curnow in the time trial, so he was going to make his presence felt very early in the piece.
Yeah, how good is that, eh? Ed's still sulking about it, so that's the best thing that happened this pre-season, apparently.
And what is it in the water down there at Williamstown? There's, I think 4 players that got picked up in the draft or the off-season.
Yeah, we had a really good year this year. Towards in the second half of the year, the boys really clicked, and as you say, we got four drafted now with myself coming to Carlton. So I think it's just a credit to Andy Collins and the rest of the footy department down there and the way the club's run. It's I couldn't speak highly enough of it, for sure.
Everybody sets themselves goals, Gibbo. What's your goal in the first season of AFL football? How many games do you think you're capable of playing?
Oh, my only goal at the moment is to play a game. It's been such a long journey for me. My dream has always been able to play. If I can get one game throughout the year, I'll be absolutely stoked. And then from there, I'll be able to really set myself and have an understanding of where I can get to.
Who do you play like? If you had to sort of describe yourself in the way and the style you play, who do you think you play a little bit like?
Look, I'd say a bit like Kane Lambert. Like the way he runs all day, gets up the ground, gets back. He's very creative through the stoppage, but then can get back towards goal. I've spoken to Lambo a little bit after the draft, and he was a Williamstown boy for a year with me. I think the way Lambo plays these AFL is something that I really want to try and emulate.
Got a text from David in Williamstown. He reckons you're more like Axel Foley than Kane Lambert.
Who's that?
Oh, yeah.
How quickly we forget.
He'll be thrilled. He'll be driving around listening about that. Hey, just a quick one before I know you got to get going, but amongst your family and your circle of friends, they're the ones that would be, they would have been riding this every bit as hard as you because they would have seen how much you've put into it and how hard it is. I mean, who amongst all that group was most excited when you got the call and that you were going to be put onto a list?
Oh, look, my mum and dad have been there the whole way. My old man's my biggest supporter and his critic. The way he's gone about helping me develop has been second to none. But then I've also got people back who live from a small town called Coolum near Wagga Wagga, and the whole town has sent me messages. So I've had people along the whole journey, and I think the way that they've embraced me and, as you say, ridden the highs and lows is just it's incredible. And
this is a quick one. You're a very good water skier, we're told. Are you going to go water skiing at any time in the near future?
Well, not after the whole rewind situation. I think I'll probably just give that one a miss for a bit.
I reckon you've waited long enough. You don't want to ruin it with a water skiing accident. Hey, what number are you going to wear too?
I think I'm number 40, so...
magnificent. Michael Jamieson was a number 40. So good luck to you, my friend. This is going to be one of the really good footy stories of 2019. You've got a lot of people in your corner, and we appreciate you jumping on the line this morning.
Thanks, lads. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Good on you. Michael Gibbons, or as the Wisp is now very familiar with him, calls him Gibbo.
Well, they call him Gibbo down there at Williamstown. So why don't we just follow?
Original.
Why don't we just follow?
Hey, what are you waiting for, Blue Baggers? Make sure you're bound by blue in 2019. Sign up. God knows we all footy clubs need members, and the Blues need them now. Sign up at membership.carltonfc.com.au.